Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to your weekly tarot reads with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. So for those of you that are long time subbies, that are my ride or dies, my Radiant Nation, you know I used to do these. I did these for a very long time and then stopped to have a break and a hiatus, and many people were very upset by that fact. You know, if anything, it was very endearing for me to know that I was so missed and that I helped so many of you get your housework done. Not sure how I feel about that, but you know, anyway, so this is just a little reintroduction. So if you are, that's for those of you that already know who I am. For those of you that are new subbies, for those of you that are new to the channel, I am Raphael. I am a tarot reader who uses astrology, numerology, and energy work. That is kind of like my whole sort of mix of tricks, tips, tools of my trade, let's say. You know, I like to think that I've developed a pretty natural and unique style of the way that I do things. So I will, for the time being anyway, be offering you weekly readings again, along with a whole bunch of other amazing goodies that I have to come. For those of you that are already a part of the Radiant Nation, you know I love you for it. Thank you for your time and your patience, and thank you for allowing me to take a break from doing something that I love but had been doing for a very long time and needed a little bit of a break from. So with that said, now that you know who I am and what I do, you can get a personal reading from me. You'll always be able to find all of that stuff in the description. With that said, stay tuned and we will get into your personal reading. Hi Leo, my ascendant brothers and sisters, welcome to your weekly taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. So if you are a continued subby, thank you so much for all of your support, your continued support, and we are back, right? And for those of you that are new to my channel, for all of you really, please don't forget to like, share, if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. But if you are a continued subby, please like the video, help it get up there and out there into that algorithm business. All right, with that said, remember these are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. And before we start, as always, I'm going to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your key to the week, your overarching energy, trend, or theme, you have... Ooh, so this is like my favorite card in all of my decks, basically. So this card, the Tree of Life, represents divine intervention or assistance, right? So sometimes this means maybe a certain plan that you have doesn't go ahead. And you know, when they say like rejection is God's protection, this could be that kind of thing, absolutely. But it could just as easily be that your path is diverted in some regard because there's a place that you are meant to be. If you haven't seen it, check out the recent talk that I did, the recent table talk that I did with my first ever astrology teacher, Frank Clifford, which is called Fate versus Free Will and Exploration. So go check it out. Now, what I love about this card is it basically says this is wild card energy, right? There's probably not going to be explanations as to why some things work and some things don't. It's just that this is the hand of fate or the divine moving you in a certain direction, and usually it's for our better. I can't ever remember a time where I thought, oh yeah, the universe is deliberately trying to screw me over. I can remember lots of times I ignored my intuition and got myself into trouble. Luckily nothing permanent or damaging or lasting, right? Well, within reason actually. Anyway, that being said, for your actions and options, you have the Hanged Man. So this week, you are being encouraged to take your time. You're being encouraged to kind of sit still and sit with it. And, you know, this is a very spiritual card, but it is also a card that represents reassessment and reevaluation. This is about taking time to really see something as it is. Now, what it also suggests is that your inner senses are trying to show you the right directions to go. And if you don't kind of get the message, things are likely to get a little bit loud. It also suggests that there is something in your midst or someone that you're not seeing as clearly as you could. For some of you, the feeling that this card is giving me as I'm looking at it now, you already know this. There's a person in your midst that you either no longer trust, or somebody that you just don't feel a certain way around, and you're trying to pinpoint why it is that they make you uneasy, and it's because at base level you know that your intuition is telling you something ain't right. All right, so you got to pay attention to that. Another way that this Hanged Man card shows up is waiting, patience, stillness, or stasis. All right, so if there's something that you're trying to move ahead with and it just doesn't seem to be going, there's a reason that the universe is holding you in place. And if you pay attention, you will get a glimpse as to what that is. For your communications and conversations, you have the Queen of Swords. So I'm going to be really honest with you. It does look like there's potentially a little bit of an argument or a bust up on the horizon. The Queen of Swords is about what we fight for. And in your communication sector, this does suggest that there are going to be either very serious conversations that need to be had or words that will be had. And this is because there's some kind of confusion that has not yet been cleared up. And I think this is, it might be a little bit louder than you would like it, but it is bringing everything to the surface. And I think that's great because it's going to allow you to move forward. Now, when it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, you might have to fight for your place. In some regard, especially when it comes to like applications, etc. Like if you're going through the clearing process, you might really need to fight for it, but you're being tested in that way because the universe is trying to say to you, is this the one that you really want, right? It's like if you've been wishy-washy about it, and this week you find yourself having to fight for your place, especially for those of you that are employed by somebody else as well. If you find yourself with your back against the wall and you're suddenly having to fight in a way that you didn't expect, this is the universe's way of asking you to check in with yourself to say, listen, is this the place that you actually want to study? Is this the place that you actually want to work? And, another way that this could show up is a contract or an offer that comes in that you're not 100% sold on and you don't know why. You can't put your finger on it. Read the fine print. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, I mean, look, I like this in that it does suggest maybe you're having to put a client in their place. There's something here where you're potentially defending yourself in, I would consider quite a big way. I love this because it means that you're being, Leos have a very generous spirit. And very often they will skirt around issues. They'll find really diplomatic solutions. You have Libra in the third house, so you're always looking to harmonize and balance through words. This might be one of those times where it's a bit more raw than sort of like kitty love affection. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is one of those times, as one of my subbies had previously put it, where you have to plant your paws and roar. All right, so look out for that. Another way this potentially shows up for you is either a contract or a connection to somebody through business that either no longer feels viable or doesn't feel fair anymore. And this could be you really speaking up about that. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this with the Hanged Man, there's a lot of focus here on developing your inner intuitive, psychic or spiritual gifts. And I actually think that's a great way for all of you to go, whatever your work status. So for the love and relations, you've got the Knight of Swords. So look, the Knight of Swords is a card of fast, sometimes aggressive communication. I gotta be honest, when it comes to relationships, etc., this might be a bit of a challenging time. It might be a moment where you're having to really temper what you say, right? Especially when it comes to relationships. For those of you that are single and looking, maybe there's somebody that rubs you the wrong way, but this with the Hanged Man, I would be very, very mindful of whoever you're meeting at the moment, especially if it's just like an online thing. You don't have all of the facts here, and this person isn't going to give them to you. And I'm really sorry to say, potentially until it's too late. Something here you just need to be very careful of, and that's not like it's going to be awful. It has the potential to be if you don't sort of read the signs. Finally, when it comes to those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, this could be where a lie is revealed to you. where something that you've been confused about, maybe some piece of a puzzle, etc., is shared with you now. And when it is, it will make a lot of sense in a relationship. So maybe your partner's been really distant with you, and then they level with you this week and say, well, you know, you said this, this, and this, and it made me feel like that, that, and that. And you kind of get this massive sort of like, oh, okay, like it could get heated. You've got the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords, right? I'm just going to tell you straight up, there's potentially very heated discussions around relationships and love this week. So just be conscious of that, all right? And if you're going to meet somebody or to meet somebody new, make sure you're telling people where you're going, you know, all of the usual stuff that you should do, all right? I don't like that word because I never want to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't be doing. It's always up to you. You always have a choice. And then finally, for your money and materials, you have the Empress. All right, so a Libra woman may feature for you in some way, shape or form. When it comes to your finances or your resources, or certainly helping you develop a new strand of resources. So I love that. For some of you, this could be you setting something into motion that has a financial element to it. So there's something here where you're like planting a seed, or you're starting something, and you're starting it really well. Like it has everything that it needs in order to truly grow. So I love this for your money. And, you know, with the Tree of Life card here as well, you know, all of the challenges that have shown up, I know a lot of you are like, well, where's the divine intervention and assistance? It's being highlighted to you that there are potentially challenges, problems, or issues in these sectors of your life. And if they're highlighted to you, you have a chance to avoid the upheave that they could potentially cause. And if that is the case, that is the divine intervention. Just because you ask a question of the universe or the divine doesn't always mean that you're going to get the answer that you want. Sometimes no is an answer. Sometimes no answer is an answer. You feel me? All right, now when it comes to your money though, and your materials and your resources and all of that stuff, this looks wonderful. And whatever you're setting into motion, it bodes very well. You will potentially have to fight for it. And maybe, just maybe, you're going to have to think about the aesthetic part of what you're doing just as much as you do, you know, the paperwork or all of the stuff in the background, or, you know, even for some of you, the legal aspects of whatever it is that you do. Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Empress is beautiful for health. For a lot of you, it does look like you're focused on your physical health and vitality. Maybe you want to look better. There's like, you know, picking up where you left off effectively with diets, health regimes, workouts, etc. I love it. I'm totally here for it. And it looks like a lot of the emotion that you're carrying around this thing that you're creating, that you love, that you're loving into being, the challenges that show up for you are only really fueling your success in a way. So I love that. And then when it comes to your home and environment, the Empress card suggests that there is a shift or a change coming to the home and environment in some way, shape or form. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. If you want to get your personal reading, you can do that on the link in the description box below. Take care, and I'll see you soon.